Great awakening, lights, lords, and grand rising to those who have not yet awoken to the simple fact that death is nothing more than transformation. And the science of it, when we break it down, will let us know that there really is no quote-unquote death to what we think it is and what the collective consciousness really thinks it is at this time in astrological space-time frequency. But it's actually life. It's actually just a part of transformation of life and how life is actually supposed to go. So in the last two videos, I took upon myself to break down what the sun is for, what the moon is for, what everything is when it comes to your consciousness, how your consciousness breaks down, how you're streamed from the sun, how the moon affects your feelings. The sun is your mind and the moon is your feelings, and how that affects your consciousness, your state of consciousness when you're awake, asleep, and so forth. So now, I'm going to explain what happens when we quote unquote die. When we quote unquote pass or whatever, it's something similar to what happens when we're asleep. When we're asleep, that's why they say sleep is the cousin of death. Sleep is the cousin of death, meaning that what happens when you're asleep is something similar to what happens when you pass on this realm, because when you go to sleep, you're basically close to that point where you can, you know what I'm saying, pass. A lot of people pass while they're asleep. A lot of people, they go upon, they go to the next realm or their next bodies, their next experiences while they're asleep. But we always think when people die, or quote unquote die, we always think, oh man, it's bad. And that's only because our subjective, program is because only our subjective minds. It's only because of how we thinking about the situation. We want that person there. Shout out to my wife right here. Love myself. But we only think that because we've emotionally connected ourselves to these people. And when they're not there anymore, we feel like we need them because there's a piece of them that's in us that is projected as a piece of them that we actually need. And since that piece of them has now transformed or projected themselves into another realm, that does not mean that their energy is gone from your realm. It just means that you won't now see them as an illusion of separation anymore. You are now that's what death is, as a quote unquote death is, as a lesson for us. That death is actually teaching us that this person or whatever is around us that we think has died is actually not gone. It has transformed this energy, and the energy that we connected to it or that we saw from it is actually still there. See what I'm saying? That's teaching us to look at that. Everything in this realm is about growth and betterment. As you can see, if you look on any other videos on my page, everything in this reality is about growth and betterment. So it's about coming to the consciousness, coming to the awareness that nothing is lost. All is transformed. Energy cannot be created or destroyed. It can only be transformed from one form to another. So I'm going to explain what the process of death is for people, so that they won't be so mourning about people all the time. Because actually, when in the Bhakta Vita, or I forgot what it's called, but basically there's a manuscript that teaches about the the transcension, the ascension or the transformation through death. You know what I'm saying? And it tells you like what happens and stuff like that, and why you shouldn't mourn, and why you shouldn't be in negative feelings, because that actually hinders your negative feelings. If you have a negative feeling about anything that happens to your loved one, it is actually hindering them from progressing into their next life. So we stream here from the sun. When you're streaming here from the sun, all of our energies get broken down into all these astrological energies. It bounces off of all the other planets and everything else within the solar system and the universe, and it comes to this plane. This plane is an obstacle course. This plane is for growth and betterment. This plane is for you to see what you actually are. This is a high frequency plane. The earth is a high frequency. You see what I'm saying? That's why Christ says, as it is in heaven, shall it so be done on earth. Let it be done on earth as it is in heaven. Let it be done on earth as it is in heaven. Meaning that simultaneously, everything that's happening in heaven and all of the heaven is happening on earth. It's just happening in a different form. So if it's happening in a different form, and we are in these forms, and everything that's happening in heaven, we are equivalent to the heavens. And people see heaven as higher. So subjectively, we are also higher. We are simultaneously as high as the heavens. So we are beaming from the sun, and we are a projection of the image of God, the image, the physical representation, a photographic representation of what God is. So we are actually God. You know, I mean, that's point blank period. That's simple. And you break it down, the image of God. So then the moon, we are we are made of water. And so the moon and everything is made of water, because if you read the Bible, everything is, everything comes from the waters. Okay. And they get all that from ancient Kemetic. They get all that from ancient civilizations. And civilizations call it the waters of Nu, the chaotic waters of Nu, chaos, waters of chaos, where everything is existing at one time. And since everything is existing at one time, that lets us know that our states of consciousness, how we go through different levels of consciousness, how we're more conscious at certain times and we're less conscious at certain times. Sometimes we're not completely conscious of anything. That lets us know that all those states of consciousness are existent at exactly one time, and it depends on what you will connect with, what you want to connect with. Now, see, when it comes to what we call death is only transformation. So when we're in these different states of consciousness, when you go to that so-called unconscious state, that is quote unquote what we deem as death. Now, when it comes to the sun, the moon, and stars and stuff like that, the sun is your mind. You project here through the sun. The moon is your feelings. You're manipulating your feelings through the moon. You're constantly reciprocating information with the cosmos, which makes you act a certain way. It makes you perceive reality a certain way. Then, when you pass, or when you so-called transform, the moon streams the same thing it does when you dream. The same thing it does when you dream. It takes your consciousness, except this time, it takes all of your consciousness, okay? All of your personal consciousness, all of your individualized consciousness, all of your experiences that you went through within this incarnation, everything that you think that you are. It takes all of that, and then it pushes it to the sun. Remember in my last video, I said that the sun, you project your mind through the sun, and then you get here, and then the moon manipulates how all the water within your body, that dictates how you feel, and all the subtle energy within your body. And when you go to sleep, it takes a piece of your consciousness and it projects it throughout the cosmos, and you experience these different realities that deal with or are connected to the reality that you experience now. So the same thing happens when you quote unquote die. I mean, that's point blank period. See, reality is fractal, meaning that all the different states of consciousness that we go throughout the day is happening on a bigger scale in the cosmos. Okay, so that means that there are different cycles of time. And these different cycles of space-time are like, being conscious, subconscious, and unconscious. You see, of reality, period, of living beings, humanity. See what I'm saying? Human beings, when we come to this realm at specific times, there are times where we are unconscious. We are here, we are living, we're doing, innately doing things that we're supposed to do, but we're unconscious of it. Sometimes we come here, we are subconsciously of it. We are subconscious of it. We are partially conscious of things. Then there's a time where we are fully conscious of everything that's going on. And we're coming to that time now. And that's why I'm doing this video right now. So it's like when you go to sleep, the moon pulls your information. You go to these different realms, you experience them. You're only subconsciously aware of them. So you are partially conscious of what's going on. And then you come back, you remember certain things. You don't remember everything. And you take what you remember and you like, dang, that's wild. Like, some people are like, wow. Some people are like, okay, I know what that means. I know how to use that information. When you die, quote unquote, when you have a death, state, or when you go through a state of death, your full consciousness, your full personality, it gets streamed through, it gets pulled by the moon. All of that gets pulled by the moon, and it gets spread throughout the consciousness, throughout the cosmos. Throughout the conscious cosmos. See what I'm saying? Because you're fully conscious. Your personality is fully, becomes fully conscious, because as soon as you get pulled from this state of the earth plane, you go to the moon and you experience. Okay, step by step, let me break it down. Hold on. Step by step, let me break it down. So, when you sleep, pieces of your consciousness go through and they come back. When you die, your whole consciousness goes and you experience the whole travel. This is what people call the tunnel. You see what I'm saying? The tunnel to the light. Okay? They say they see the light at the end of the tunnel. What that experience is, it's actually the moon pulling you. The moon pulling you, and it's pulling you through this spiral action, because all of us are vortexes. We're vortexes of energy. Everything is fractal. Everything is reciprocating energy, and we're all, doing this. We're actually spiraling. Whether you're spiraling mentally, you're going through different spaces of consciousness as you're growing, or you're spiraling, physically, where you're growing, physically and metaphysically, and spiritually, we're spiraling through these infinite states of the cosmos. So when you see these spirals, the spiral is actually what that tunnel is. The tunnel is the spiral. It's a spiral. You're going through the spiral. You think you're going straight, but actually you're going like this. You're going through the tunnel like this, and it's making an illusion of you going straight forward. You see what I mean? So you're going through this tunnel. That light is the light that's reflected from the sun off of the moon. So that light is actually you. It's tunneling to yourself. Okay? It's tunneling you to yourself. When you get to that light, what happens is you experience a quote unquote paradise. This paradise is a paradigm of thinking. It's a paradigm of thinking of fulfilling all of your emotions. You know what I'm saying? Getting away all of your attachments. So when people talk about quote unquote hell and heaven, that's neither here nor there. That's neither here nor there. There's just religious talk. There's just like an advertisement for something that doesn't exist. You know what I'm saying? So it's like you go through this state, you go to this paradise. When the moon pulls your consciousness, you go through this paradise, and you go through the state of actually fulfilling all of your emotions. After you do that, you come to a point where, okay, all of my emotions fulfilled, so what now? Then the moon pushes you. Remember, the moon is a satellite. It is constantly reciprocating information between the earth and the stars and the sun. You know what I mean? So you come from the moon, you go to the moon, you come from the moon, and you go to the sun. You go to the center of your galaxy. Your center of your galaxy is the sun. This is a heliocentric realm. I don't care what they saying. They talk about the flat earth and all that. And it's not flat, nor is it round. It's a multi-dimensional plane. You see? It's a multi-dimensional plane. This earth is a multi-dimensional plane, so it's constantly changing, depending on what level of the collective consciousness that we're in. So you go to the sun. When you get to the sun is your thought. The sun is your mind, your true mind, not the illusion. It's without the illusion. It breaks away all of that. The reason you go to the moon before this is so that you can fulfill all of your emotional attachment. You can fulfill all of your emotional attachment, see what it's for, why it's there, all of that. All of the lessons that you could have learned in this physical incarnation, you're going to learn there. You see, you're going to learn, you're going to see all of that. Then when you get to the sun, your true mind, you're going to decide whether or not you have actually done that within the physical incarnation, within your what you think is your incarnation right now, who you think you are right now. And if you did not do that, you're going to be faced with yourself. You're going to be faced with the highest version, the best version that you could have been in your physical life. You're going to be faced with that. This is not in any religious text. This is not in any religious text that you could read, any ancient scriptures. This is not probably going to be in there because, through European civilization, they have taken, our lower self has taken all of the ancient scriptures and stuff, bastardized them, dealt away with some of it, killed it off, destroyed our idols, destroyed our, subconscious cursors that we put in place so that we can remember these certain things. But when you notice the little things about reality, when you notice the scientific things about reality, like why is the sun here, why is the moon here, why the stars here, why is the earth here, how are we connected to that, then you get to this information. You see, when you quote unquote die, the moon pulls your consciousness. When it pulls your consciousness, you get to experience all of that on the moon. That's why they say there's a man on the moon. That's why you say you look up there, it looks like a man or whatever. You go there, you experience life. You experience all of human life, all of the conscious life that you can experience there. And then you go to the sun, and you are faced with yourself. You are faced with everything that you could have been. You are judging. You literally judge yourself. You ever heard of the Great White Judgment? Yes, the Great White Judgment is that not everyone's going to be there. It's only going to be you, because you're the only thing that exists truly. Everything else is truly an illusion. Everything else is just a reflection of you and your state of consciousness. That's it. So you go to the sun after the moon. You go to the sun, and you are faced with the highest version of what you could be. The highest version of what you could be within the illusion. And it reveals unto you all of the lessons that you could have learned while you were there, while you were here on this earth plane, within these bodies. And just from you being convicted, it's like an automatic process. Everything is automated. The subconscious is automatic system, is an automatic system of growth and betterment. So you get there, and you realize, dang, all of this is a fucking illusion. I fucked up at this, I fucked up at that. I could have learned this, I could have learned that. Yada yada yada. As soon as you feel that, as soon as you're convicted of that, and you feel guilty about that, you automatically go to the rest of the cosmos. You get broken up into all these different pieces, and the different pieces of yourself that could experience all these different parts of yourself that you can deal with while you're on the earth plane, because the earth plane is actually a center for obstacles. It's a center for you overcoming everything. That's what we got to realize. It's a center for havoc. It's a center for us overcoming havoc. All these different pieces of your consciousness, Jupiter, Saturn, Venus, Neptune, Pluto, all these different planets within your galaxy. See what I'm saying? You will get split up into that, and then you will go to these places and experience them at different intervals. And while you're experiencing that, you will automatically create another body. You will automatically make or beam into another body that's here on this earth plane, and you will come back. And that's how death works. That's the science of death. That's actually the progression of death in the afterlife and resurrection and stuff like that. And you know, a lot of people, they don't, you know what I'm saying, they think that this is the only life. But no, this is the only life, but life is infinite. Life is always progressing. Life is always growing. If you do not, you know what I'm saying, if you do not overcome, you know what I'm saying, the lessons that you need to overcome, you are going to get into, you are going to come back within a hell-like state of realm on the earth plane. There's not like a whole realm where it's just hell. You know what I'm saying? There's not like a whole realm where it's just heaven. Heaven is where you are. Heaven is a state of mind. Hell is a state of mind and a state of being. And the state of mind creates a physical reality for you to experience that on the earth plane. Do you get what I'm saying? So when you come back, you're going to experience hell if you are not conscious of you being the being that you are. If you're not conscious of you being a deity that can overcome all of its lessons that it needs to overcome, so that you can do what you need to do to transcend this galaxy. You see, the cosmos is infinite. This galaxy is only one small part. It's only one small part of the whole thing. And people talk about extraterrestrials and stuff like that. Extraterrestrials and you know what I'm saying, all of that, that's actually us. When we're in a certain state, we're not going to communicate with our lower self. No, we're not going to choose to be low. If you want to be high, you're not going to choose to be low. So extraterrestrials, quote unquote extraterrestrials, or higher beings, they not coming here. They are not coming here unless they specifically want to learn specific lessons. Then they come into lower realms and hell realms and stuff like that in order to be around beings and overcome certain lessons and learn certain things by teaching others. And see, we got a lot of people on this earth plane right now that are not taking, you know what I'm saying, they are not considered. They are not considered within this illusion of us living life every day. There's a lot of people, man, like Gandhi, for instance. He literally murdered himself. He literally killed himself because he wanted to be an example for the rest of the collective consciousness that no matter what, you should stick to your righteousness. You should stick to whatever morals and principles that are leading you to the next life, that are leading you to being at your higher state of being. Now, I don't agree that, you know what I'm saying, you should kill yourself. I don't agree that you should commit suicide. I don't agree that you should, you know what I'm saying, harm yourself in any way. But in Gandhi's personal perspective, he acknowledged higher being. And through his own astrological energy, he did that so that for him to acknowledge him, for him to acknowledge himself as a higher being. You see? For him to acknowledge himself as a higher being, he did it without no doubt, with no doubt within his heart. He said, I am going to do this for humanity. And that's what we need to take in. We need to take in that perspective. Not murdering yourself, not suicide. We need to take in the perspective of whatever it takes is what I'm going to do. Whatever it takes is what I'm going to do. Every single fucking moment. Every single moment, whatever it takes is what I'm going to do to be my better self, to be my higher self, to show myself and the rest of humanity, to live out and teach higher wisdom as an example for the collective consciousness, to do what we need to do, to elevate ourselves outside of boxes, outside of limitation. So when you pass, you need to think about this every day. A man who does not think about death, his own death, is not ready. A man who does not think about how he's going to die, or, you know, how he's going to live out his whole life. Because whatever you're doing here is what kills you. You truly kill yourself anyway. Objectively, you truly kill yourself anyway. Just like in the Bible, man. Just like in the Bible, quote unquote, Jesus, the Christ. He already knew. He already knew he was going to, what? He already knew he was going to die. Okay. So what? When people tried to stop it, he said, no, hey, hold up. Don't stop that. No, I need to die. I need to do this for the salvation of myself and humanity. I need to do this for the salvation of humanity, because he truly understood that the consciousness of this man, the consciousness of this being, this allegorical or metaphorical person, metaphysical person per se, knew that whatever I'm here to do, I'm going to do it fully. I'm not going to bullshit. Whatever I am here to do, I am supposed to do it until I leave. Once I become conscious of what I'm here to do, my purpose, I'm going to do that. I'm not gonna, you know, sometimes we doubt ourselves, you know, because even Jesus did. They say that he went into, you know, the mountains or whatever, and he went into the, you know, wilderness, and he prayed to God. He prayed to his Father self, and was like, please let this pass from me. Because he could not take it, because he was a human form. He had to doubt. He had to all the different energies that we as humans have. So he got into a lower state. People want to talk about how Jesus was perfect and all of that. Jesus was not perfect. That's why when people came to him and asked him when he came to him and they was about to ask him questions, and they called him good master or good Lord or good teacher, he said, I am not good. He said, oh man, look at the bird. He said, I am not good. He said, the only thing that's good is the Father. The only thing that's good is the consciousness that you think is farther away. That you think is farther away. The Father. Do you get it? So we must take hold of this consciousness, man. Jah Mashiach is here to live out and teach higher wisdom as an example for the collective consciousness. And Jah Mashiach is growing and growing through his states of death, through his states of transformation, knowing that death, the death of his physical body is the same as the death of him transforming his mind, simply transforming his mind in any way that he can transform his mind every day. When you wake up and you feel like you're negative and you automatically change your point of view to positive, that's death. That's a transformation. You automatically changed yourself. You automatically transformed yourself, and you killed a negative thought. You killed a negative thought frequency. You killed a system of negative thoughts by putting positive thoughts and replacing those negative thoughts with positive thoughts. It's the same way. It's just on a higher scale. Everything is fractal. Remember this, my family. Remember this, Light Lords. I love myself. Share and subscribe to this information. And let's get this information out here. The 3-part series is done. Let's get it. I love myself. Peace.